Hello, friends. This is Sam Cheney reporting for Weaponized News. Today's April 14th, 2026. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday edition of Weaponized News. Quite a bit to get to for you today. What do we have first here? The hooks for the show, as they say. Well, Trump just told Fox News that the Iran war is over, if you could believe that. So I don't believe a thing that these lying criminals calling themselves our government say. We have, again, Bibi saying that the Vance in the White House report to him daily. So shout out President of America proudly. That's what we voted for, right? Sure it is. What else do we got? Just the ongoing insanity of the blockade. We're going to block your blockade and blockade it all. So there's no ships moving. Apparently there's some ships moving there in the Strait of Hormuz. We'll go over that. Beyond the pale of ridiculousness. As we won the war, we're on Iran war day 46. We've won the war 46 times. But yet we still have Khomeini in charge. And the Iranian people are more radicalized than ever. I wonder why. Trump told us, and Fox News told us, they love being bombed by us. So I don't know what's causing the radicalization. We'll have to take a look at that. What else do we got here? Economic terrorism admitted. J.D. Vance, Mr. Technocracy Vice President, admits that the U.S. is committing economic terrorism. I've been saying it a long time. Yeah, they've weaponized the dollar. We'll cover that. We have fallout from the war propaganda wars that the United States is losing here. Trump is losing the propaganda wars. We got some clips from that. There are protests. Everything's heavily censored here in America, as the rest of the world, apparently. But there were some protests, anti-war protests in New York yesterday. Cover that. But they really did quill down all of the anti-war protests, especially coming out of college campuses, because it's antiseptic, obviously, to protest genocide, as we've come to learn. What else do we got? Trump backing the FISA Section 702 of illegal spying on Americans with no warrant. The same thing that Obama administration did to Trump. Now he backs it doing to you and I. So he's a piece of shit. I know, not new news for our audience, but yeah. Trump is a tyrannical piece of shit. We got a bunch of economic news, more Epstein news, and a bunch of geopolitical news. They're stacking bodies in Gaza. They're stacking bodies in Lebanon. It's quite horrific. It is quite horrific indeed. Okay, let's get to on this day in our history. On this day in our history. Let's see where we're at here. Some people coming online right now. I see Ruckus, The November, and Beth there. Shout out to you guys in the chat coming on and joining the broadcast. Okay, I got a lot of this days, so I'm going to try to blast through them as quick as I can. A lot of stuff happened on this day in history. On this day of April 14th, we go back to the year 1471, War of the Roses, Battle of Barnet. Yorkists defeat Lancastrians and kill the Earl of Warwick. War of Roses on this day, 1471. 1570, on this day, Polish Calvinists, Lutherans, and Hutters unify against the Jesuits. 1775, on this day, we saw the first abolitionist society in the United States organized in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 1828, on this day, we saw American Dictionary of the English Language. Noah Webster registers the copyright for the publication of the American Dictionary titled An American Dictionary of the English Language. Then we just changed the meaning of everything to where we're not in a war, there's a ceasefire, all the rest of it. They changed the definition of immunity, of miracles, the whole routine. So they just make up whatever. In this Orwellian nightmare we find ourselves in today. 1831, on this day, soldiers marching on a bridge in Manchester, England, cause it to collapse. That's not very good. 1841, on this day, the first detective story is published by Edgar Allan Poe, The Murders in the Rue Morgue. On this day in 1858, John Brown meets Harriet Tubman, abolitionist. John Brown meets Harriet Tubman at a constitutional convention convened in Chatham, Ontario. On this day in 1863, I got out of whack here for some reason. On this day in 1863, American inventor William Bullock patents continuous roll printing press. On this day in 1865, then U.S. President Abraham Lincoln is shot in the head by John Wilkes Booth at Ford's Theater in Washington. He dies tomorrow, the next day. 1871. I got out of whack by like one segment here. 1871, on this day, if Snow's listening out there, Canada sets denominations of currency as dollars, cents, and mills. 1906. On this day in 1906, Roosevelt, then U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt, denounces muckrakers in U.S. press. And so we do appreciate the attack on the First Amendment by Theodore Roosevelt on this day, 1906. 1909, on this day, the Anglo-Persian Oil Company forms in London. And we're seeing the repercussions of that today. Actually, 1910, on this day, Pan American Union forms. Also 1910, on this day, then U.S. President William Howard Taft begins the tradition of throwing the ceremonial first pitch on opening day of baseball season. I don't know why I picked that one. I messed that one up. I could care less about the opening day of baseball season, even though it's pretty Masonic. Continuing, on this day, 1912, Titanic hits iceberg. The world's largest ocean liner hits an iceberg off Newfoundland and sinks in the early hours of April 15th. Allegedly. Again, look into the Titanic conspiracy. There's a lot there. On this day, I got off by one tab here. Okay, I think we're back on schedule. On this day in 1914, non-skid tires. U.S. head of Firestone Tire and Rubber Company patents non-skid tire pattern. On this day in 1935, Black Sunday dust storm ravages the U.S. Midwest, leading the region be named the Dust Bowl. And then, of course, the Grapes of Wrath novel about the Dust Bowl about the Okies fleeing to California and their trials and tribulations along the way, was published on this date in 1939, The Grapes of Wrath, John Steinbeck. 1944, on this day, then General Dwight D. Eisenhower becomes the Supreme Allied Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Force. And quite a bit was going on in World War II. The next year, in 1945, American planes bomb Tokyo and damage the Imperial Palace. 1945, U.S. Marines attack Taki, the tallest mountain on the Okinawa Peninsula. And in 1945, World War II, U.S. 7th Army and Allied forces capture Nuremberg and Stuttgart in Germany. Quite a bit going on in 1945 and World War II on this day. 1958 on this day, the poor dog Laika, space dog Laika, launched to her death. Soviet spacecraft Sputnik 2 with space dog Laika aboard burns up during re-entry into Earth's atmosphere, if we believe that story. I believe the dog Laika did die in all of that. Moving on to 1961. 1961, on this day, we saw the first live television broadcast from the Soviet Union. 1971, we saw then U.S. President Richard Nixon ends blockade against People's Republic of China. Now, backhandedly, we have another proxy blockade against China. So many years later here now. 1983, on this day, U.S. President then Ronald Reagan signs $165 billion Social Security rescue bailout package. So we do appreciate the great conservative Ronald Reagan, Hollywood actor, bailing out the Ponzi scheme known as Social Security one more time. Thank you very much for that treason, Reagan. 1993, on this day, Branch Davidian cult leader David Koresh promises to surrender after completion of his 7 Seals manuscript, but gives no timeline. And the federal government went on to kill all of David Koresh's parishioners at his Branch Davidian compound. On this day, or no, they didn't kill them all. They killed a lot of them, though, right? They killed a lot of them. Excuse me, they didn't kill them all. They did kill David Koresh, though, sadly enough. On this day in 2003, the Human Genome Project is completed with 99% of human genome sequenced to an accuracy of 99.99%. And I don't think the science is settled. Let's just leave it at that. And there's a Politico story today. They're like, Americans are shy of the miracles now. I wonder why, because they're anti-science conspiracy theorists, right? Right. On this day in 2020, the IMF warns the global economy is expected to contract by 3% in 2020 due to the bat Great Lockdown, the steepest downturn since the Great Depression. And now we're 6 years later, we're going to face a giant global economic downturn. Thank you very much, Aardvarks and Trump. And on this day in 2021, then President Joe Biden withdraws from Afghanistan. And some Americans got killed in the deal. We left $80 billion of military assets there. And so thankfully the Taliban, who we fought for 25 years or whatever it was, is still in control. And so Trump following that trend in Iran, keeping the current regime in charge. But thankfully, they blew up all of our assets. So maybe we won't leave them $80 billion worth of U.S. Maybe we will. What the hell? Trump's a philanthropist, humanitarian, he tells us. So maybe we will just leave them all our military assets there. A la Joe Biden's withdrawal from Afghanistan. And don't get me wrong, I'm happy that we did withdraw from Afghanistan, but the way they went about doing it was quite a disaster. Okay, on this day in our civil liberties history, we have a few issues here. Can I even cover this? I don't even know. We'll cover one because I get too fired up talking about the science. I'm telling you, man. Okay, on this day in 2014, Pulitzer Prizes for Snowden-related NSA stories. The 2014 Pulitzer Prize for Public Service was awarded to The Guardian, U.S., and Washington Compost for their stories on National Security Agency, NSA, spying based on documents leaked to them by Edward Snowden, a former NSA contractor. And now, President of America, who they spied on illegally, loves it and is endorsing illegal FISA, warrantless spying on Americans for our own safety and good, of course. The government are the terrorists. The government are the crime syndicate. They're the bad people. You see, I know it's hard to get through to idiot Americans, but your government hates you. Remember that tomorrow on tax day. Here's a segue to the news. Shadow President of America, Bibi, says that Vance reported directly to him, as the administration does every day. So I'm glad that our shadow president here is getting his daily briefings from the Trump administration. It's a man, oh man, do we have a tyranny problem here in this country? Here's Bibi telling us about his briefings from the White House.
I spoke yesterday with Vice President J.D. Vance. He called me from his plane on the way back from Washington. He reported to me in detail, as the people of this administration do every day, on the development of the negotiations. In this case, the explosion in the negotiations, the explosion came from the American side, which was not willing to tolerate the blatant violation of the agreement to enter negotiations by Iran. Essentially, the agreement was that there would be a ceasefire and Iran would immediately open the crossings. They didn't do that. The Americans were not willing to accept it. He also conveyed to me that the central issue on the table from the perspective of President Trump and the United States is the removal of all enriched material and ensuring that there is no more enrichment in the coming years, and this could be for decades.
Apologies for the translation there, but he was speaking in his language, and I did confirm this multiple different sources that's pretty accurate translation to what he was saying there in his I got something caught in my throat language there. But the real takeaway is we need to celebrate him being briefed daily and continuing the genocide there. Here's this Fox News lady, Maria Bartiromo, Fox Business, I believe. She says that Trump told her the Iran war is over. She posted this like a couple hours ago. She just had an interview with the tyrants over there at that White House.
I just left the president. It was a great interview. He said a lot about the economy, about the Iran war, about NATO. One thing that I'll leave you with, I said to him, Mr. President, you keep talking about the war like was. I said, is it over? He said, it's over. Join the whole interview tomorrow.
That's why our whole military sitting off of the Iran coast is because it's over. Does Trump? I don't know. Does Trump have dementia? Does he? He's like, who are we negotiating with? We changed the regime. Yo, bud, Khomeini's still in charge of Iran. He's the supreme leader there. He's like, we're negotiating on the shoe phone, the can phone. We don't know who we're talking to. Like, dude, is Trump in his right mind here now? Well, maybe he is. And this is all just a big game. It's all just a big game. Trump, the dark occultist here, the magician, the tarot card right there, right? Very similar to this image put out by Trump yesterday with some demons over here as his angels in the background. And people also pointed out that on yesterday's show, they were saying that's not Trump representing himself as Jesus. That's Trump representing himself as Lucifer, the light bearer. And that may very well be. And there's a good comparison. The magician, yeah, he's a dark occultist casting spells on his idiot followers. Wake up, wake up, wake up. He's a lying con man, piece of garbage, the orange man. And it's been a con from the very beginning, from jump. Since he went down that golden escalator, he's been a con man, lying criminal. Yeah. And all that, it's all show, man. Oh, the establishment's against them, so that makes me want to like them. It's all show. It's all show because they know what the people really want, but they give us these clowns, Trump, and whatever's the next politician to come along that has all the fancy America first rhetoric. They're going to be full of shit too, because nobody with a soul wants to work for this crime syndicate. You understand? All these people are soulless demon creatures possessed by, they have evil in their spirit, in their heart, or you couldn't live with yourself to work for this monstrosity calling themselves the U.S. government. U.S. CENTCOM earlier today about the Iran war. U.S. blockade now. U.S. blockade of Iranian ports. According to U.S. Central Command, no ships allowed in or out of Iranian ports. Blockade is being enforced impartially against vessels of all nations. Freedom of navigation remains for vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz, except for ships entering or exiting Iranian ports. First 24 hours, no ships from Iranian ports made it past the blockade. 6 merchant vessels complied with direction from U.S. forces to turn around, executing the mission. So considering we won the war, we sure are dedicating a lot of money, manpower, American lives, and assets to the war we already won for the 46th time. Executing the mission, 10,000 plus U.S. service members, 100 plus fighters and surveillance aircraft, 12 plus warships. And then here's all the different big guns right there. Yeah. So and then they even put it on the map for us right here. Put it on the map. Oh, yeah, by the way, they whacked the hell out of all our bases right here, right? Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE. They whacked the hell out of all of these places. They left that out of the report from U.S. Central Command, sadly. Okay, on to what's the reporting today. Wall Street Journal says that the U.S. said no vessels left Iranian ports. Yeah, we just reported that right from, it was Wall Street Journal just reporting right from CENTCOM. Looks like that report is. Europe, those dirty Europeans, right? They wouldn't back us up in this war. And so maybe we need to, bomb the hell out of Italy, because their prime minister has said that she won't re-up arms agreement with Aardvarkland. So it's about time to sanction and probably drone the hell out of Italy. Europe is preparing a plan to reopen the Strait of Hormuz after the war ends, led by Sun King Macron and UK, but without U.S. involvement. the idea is to form an international defensive mission that excludes countries directly involved in the war, like America, Aardvark land, and Iran, so it is more acceptable, particularly to Tehran. And that's a report out of the Wall Street Journal. Pakistan is working to arrange a second round of U.S.-Iran talks this week. Yeah. We saw how, well, the big sticking point, U.S. says 20 years, no nuke program, no nuclear enrichment. And Iran says 5 years, right? But the main sticking point, I think we got some of these. Well, we have the, no, never mind. The main sticking point was stop whacking the Lebanese. And Aardvarks just can't bring themselves to stop killing people. And that's the problem. The major sticking point here now is their bloodlust is just overtaken any type of rational thinking at this point. And so I know if you criticize them murdering innocent people, you're anti-Semitic, but that's exactly what they're doing there now, isn't it? New York Post says, this is Trump talking to the New York Post, says something could be happening over the next 2 days. We're more inclined to go to Pakistan. And there's reports that Iran had to have a fighter jet escort by Pakistan back from the first negotiations that failed because they were fearful they would be shot down. And Pakistan had to escort them because then that would have brought Pakistan into the mix. And Pakistan has nukes, allegedly. And so supposedly in the geopolitical power struggle for world domination, if you got nukes, then you got a seat at the table. Everybody else get in the ditch and die along with the Palestinians is where we're at here now, allegedly. That's the game they're playing now. So Iran needs a Pakistani escort wherever they go, so aardvarks don't assassinate the negotiators and then say, look, they don't want to negotiate. Well, because you whacked them like the last 5 times they tried to negotiate. They always leave that part out of their propaganda and lies now, don't they? Here's Mr. Twinkle Toes, Lindsey Graham. This guy in the government makes me think, yeah, elections are rigged, 100%. You're telling me the good people of South Carolina vote for this piece of shit, Lindsey Graham? I don't think so. I think it's all rigged. Here's what this warmonger had to say. And he's channeling the ghost of John McCain, too, probably, by the way, through this. I hope speculation and rumors about yet another extension of the ceasefire to reach a deal with Iran are off base. There's no ceasefire. Like, what are you even talking about? It's all bullshit. To me, President Trump's position is clear. I fear that Iranians will play the same old game they always play, dragging things out by doing things like making menial concessions. I believe the bottom line for President Trump is no enrichment, American control of the approximately 900 pounds of highly enriched uranium, the opening of the Strait of Hormuz without interference from Iran. Iran must abandon its long-range ballistic missile program and any effort to develop a nuclear weapon, and Iran must cease support for all terrorist proxies in the region. This would allow Iran to exist as a nation, but not as the largest state sponsor of terrorism. If there is no deal, it is time to finish the job. This guy needs to be kicked out of the Senate, censured for warmongering. More from U.S. Central Command. A F-35B stealth fighter jet preparing for flight So just more about the assets is why they're sitting in the Arabian Sea, Tripoli port, with 3,500 sailors ready to embark on the mission to enforce the naval blockade. They're on the Strait of Hormuz. And so just the reason I had that was just to illustrate more assets over there. This is the insanity coming out of the Department of War. Quote from Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth: "Our job here at the Pentagon is to prepare for the threats of the future and build a force to match them and defeat them and outpace them." And here he is, the meme of the day from the Department of War, signing a bomb. Rebuild the arsenal of freedom by a open checkbook to the military industrial complex, and that maniac signing bombs. It's pretty disturbing, no? I know MAGA loves it, but myself personally, I'm pretty disturbed by this, that the Department of War would think this is appropriate. But all these maniacs sign the bombs, right? Iran's putting messages on the side of bombs. These guys are. The era of weakness is over. The War Department is rapidly innovating to ensure our warfighters always have the technological edge. We have more about this, but here it is. America warfighters first. So we're now in a wartime economy, apparently. When is it considered a world war? We have operations going all over the place, specifically Iran right now, the real hot zone, but all over South America, building the greater North America. We're chasing ships, sanctioned oil tankers all over the 7 seas, tracking them down, jacking their oil. Okay, here's Mr. Technocracy, J.D. Vance. He accuses Iran of economic terrorism, but then backhandedly admits that America is using economic terrorism. Yeah.
When it comes to weapons of war, what they have done is engage in this act of economic terrorism against the entire world. They basically threatened any ship that's moving through the Straits of Hormuz. Well, as the President of the United States showed, two can play at that game. And if the Iranians are going to try to engage in economic terrorism, we're going to abide by a simple principle that no Iranian ships are getting out either. We know that's a big deal to them. We know that applies additional economic leverage. And again, Brett, the president wants the Iranian people to thrive and succeed. He has had his negotiation team put on the table a serious proposal. The ball is in Iran's court. Did we make progress? Yes. But we're going to find out from the Iranians whether we can make that ultimate bit of progress that gets us to a big deal. When it comes to weapons of war, what they have...
See, those damn Iranian terrorists are economic terrorists. And guess what? So is America. A lot bigger with the weaponization of the dollar, the world reserves currency. Here you go. The Treasury Department weaponizing the dollar. Treasury is moving aggressively with economic fury, maintaining maximum pressure on Iran. Financial institutions should be on notice that the department is leveraging the full range of available tools and authorities and is prepared to deploy secondary sanctions against financial institutions that continue to support Iran's activities. The short-term authorization permitting the sale of Iranian oil already stranded at sea is set to expire in a few days and will not be renewed. What are we going to do about these damn Iranian economic terrorists? Well, we're going to be the economic terrorists. More than 100 empty crude tankers on their way to be filled with American energy. So right out of the White House. Yeah, we just jacked a bunch of Venezuela oil. So, yeah, economic terrorism. Trump administration has eased financial sanctions on Venezuela to help stabilize its struggling economy and address protests over low wages. The change, allows major state banks, including Banco Centro de Venezuela, to use US dollars, access oil revenues, and reconnect with the global financial system, i.e., weaponization of the dollar being backed off a little bit there because we stole all their gold. We stole their gold, we stole their oil, and you could have this piece of crap paper with an all-seeing eye on top of the pyramid on it. There you go, Venezuela. U.S. economic terrorism 101. So yeah, we got sanctions all over the place. More U.S. economic terrorism. U.S. economic sanctions, broad embargoes against Cuba, Iran, North Korea, Russia, Crimea, Donetsk, and Luhansk regions of Ukraine, as those are potentially controlled by Russia. You know what I mean? That's why we're in a big war over there. Part of it. Okay, targeted sanctions on specific individuals, entities, and sectors in Belarus, Burma, Myanmar, Central African Republic, China, Democratic Republic of Congo, Libya, Mali, Nicaragua, Somalia. How many times have we bombed Somalia? Like, you know what I mean? Plus sanctions, plus yeah. I wonder why they're running scams in Minnesota and all over the place. South Sudan, Syria, Venezuela, Yemen, Balkans, Ethiopia, Hong Kong, Iraq, Lebanon, and the list goes on and on. So yeah, 85 to 90% of the rest of the world hates America. Just to let you know, America, what this government has painted a giant target on all of us with their tyrannical economic terrorism. Saudi Arabia pushes U.S. to end Hormuz blockade, fearing Bab al-Mandab closure. So, yeah, according to the Wall Street Journal, Saudi Arabia is requesting that Washington end its newly announced blockade of the Strait of Hormuz and resume negotiations with Iran, fearing Tehran could escalate the war and disrupt Saudi oil exports through another strategic strait, the Bab al-Mandab Strait. Yeah. I guess we're run by Aardvark, Saudi Arabia, America first. And it's just become a giant disaster, but that's what happens when you owe your allegiance to foreign loyalties now, isn't it? Here's Hillary. Hillary Clinton's still around, by the way. And isn't this some kind of treason? Logan Act, something? She says she's working in behind the scenes and back channels. Former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton says she has been working quote, behind the scenes in order to advocate for the Lebanese government to disarm Hezbollah.
But we see Hezbollah is not by any means defeated because we're engaged in a war now in southern Lebanon. I would wish the following. Number one, and finally there seems...
She said, we are. See, there's no difference. Hillary, Trump, same, aardvark lovers, treasonous to United States sovereignty, to the U.S. Constitution, to our Bill of Rights. All of them are the same.
To be some opening here. I've been advocating behind the scenes for this now for several months. Israel should support this Lebanese government. There has not been a better Lebanese government since the Syrians and Iranians assassinated.
Support the American puppet government there in Lebanon. Okay.
Hariri. They are trying. Do they have all the capacity they need? No. But they are trying to set up a government in Lebanon that can deal with the threat that Hezbollah poses internally to Lebanon. And so rather than
Hezbollah is not blowing up civilians in Lebanon, aardvarks are.
And making their task even harder, work with this new government in Lebanon. See how far you can help them to go to disarm Hezbollah.
Man, these people are out of control. There is no law and order. They run around to do whatever they want. No one's ever held accountable. Little Marco Rubio, the current sitting Secretary of State. During these days of remembrance for victims of the Holocaust, Jeanette, is his beard fake wife, I guess, and I honor the 6 million aardvarks who were murdered in the Holocaust. Our duty to defend the truth and fight anti-Semitism is more urgent than ever. Never again means just that. And then you got anti-Semitic rabbis here. Voice of rabbis, bunch of anti-Semitic, surely. They say never again is being exploited for Zionist politics. The memory of the Holocaust is sacred. It must never be turned into a shield for Zionist agendas. Fighting anti-Semitism is vital, but it must never be conflated with defending Zionist ideology. Well, that's just anti-Semitic rabbis. Voice of rabbis. Continuing here. Well, come on, YouTube. Come on, man. YouTube censors independent Iranian Lego media channel. And so they got banned because I'm sure the federal government called up YouTube and said, ban these guys. They're killing us in the propaganda wars here now. So it's, Mint Press is reporting. And I went and checked and their channel wasn't up, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours ago. But here you go. And there was some confusion yesterday. Apparently that dude they were interviewing on RT, I was saying he was behind the Lego propaganda videos. Turns out maybe he is, but not. He's doing his own thing. These are the guys right here that are doing the viral, and they're out of Iran. Explosive Media, and they're the ones that got their YouTube channel deleted for winning the propaganda war. So they got rewarded that way. But it's actually these guys, Explosive Media, with 2 A's you could see on their handle right there. So maybe that other guy is putting out some other videos, but the main ones going super mega viral are Explosive Media, and they got their YouTube banned for it. Here's some more propaganda in the propaganda wars that the White House is losing badly. From Forbidden HQ, Goy story. And remember and never forget, we got a window, right? We got a window into the mindset of the Epstein class, of the ultra elite aardvarks, and they tell us that everybody else not part of them is subhuman, goy, to be raped, abused, and killed. So never forget that. That's their mindset against the rest of the world.
You're my favorite toy. You do everything I say. You go wherever I point you. And the best part is, you think it's all your idea.
BB! BB! Put those stupid toys away and come eat your breakfast. You have a very busy day of destroying nations today.
That boy really abuses those stupid toys.
What the hell are you guys looking at? On your feet! We're going to war! I don't know who we're fighting or why, but Bibby said go, so we're going! Don't ask questions! Move out! I gave that kid everything he asked for, and I still ended up on the floor. Good luck, Jack. Hey! Zip it, Sleepy Joe! Can you not see I'm building something very important here? This is the third temple! Come on, man. And when Bibby sees it, he's gonna realize I'm his favorite toy.
Yeah, they're getting killed in the propaganda war. That'll be deleted soon. We'll probably be deleted soon for playing these videos showing you that, yeah, they're getting killed in the propaganda war. Here's a short one. Here's a short one. Temporary terms of temporary ceasefire. Taco Trump. No audio on that one. Was there audio? Nah, no audio. Just Trump crying and eating a taco. There. Trump always chickens out. Taco Trump. And then, of course, the guy we voted for, America First, MAGA, all that bullshit, Jared Kushner. How's this guy not locked up? How many crimes has he committed?
The big day is here and we gotta make some peace. Shit be blowing up in the Middle East. So who should we call to negotiate? A top ambassador? The Secretary of State? No, you got someone better who is top of mind, whose brand is taking peace and that's being kind. This choice sounds indicative of your brain mush. Only a damn fool would send in the kush. Send the kush.
Say what?
That skinny ass fool.
Send the kush. No, don't.
That kid's in Hebrew school. Send the kush.
Say what?
He knows how to make good deals. Send the kush.
That's effed.
He'll get little, the rest he'll steal. When war is raging and we're losing good men, you pick the guy who's got all the investments. The region is conflicted now, so is our guy. Some skinny rich D-bag with two dead eyes. No matter whether it's Pakistan or Iran, you be telling me there's no better man. These people don't trust us ever since George Bush, and now your best idea is to send in the kush.
Say what?
That skinny ass fool.
Send the kush. No, don't.
That kid's in Hebrew school.
Send the kush. Say what?
He knows how to make good deals. Send the kush.
That's effed.
He'll get little, the rest he'll steal. Yeah. Maybe if Iran was a real estate deal, or we were having our bar mitzvahs in Israel. But this job requires more diplomatic order, not some Ichabod Crane who was stepping your daughter. We get it, you don't care now that you dropped the bombs, but the whole world's economy, it ain't so common. The blowback will be your own Vietnam, so why you gotta send Ivanka's date for the prom?
Say what?
That skinny ass fool.
No, don't.
That kid's in Hebrew school.
Say what?
He knows how to make good deals. Send the kush.
That's effed.
He'll get little, the rest he'll steal. I know you like to keep it all in the family, but so far that's made us nothing but enemies. And the global stage ain't a UFC fight. Sometimes you gotta do something that's right. So no nerdy ass clowns as our peace broker. Smartest guy in the room can't be a self-stroker, and he needs experience, not with Ivanka's tush. We need a peacekeeper, don't send in the kush. Send the kush.
Say what?
That skinny ass fool.
No, don't.
That kid's in Hebrew school.
Say what?
He knows how to make good deals. Send the kush.
That's effed.
He'll get little, the rest he'll steal.
Really?
There was some protest here in America. U.S. military whistleblower Chelsea Manning was arrested at Iran war protest in New York. in New York. That's out of UK Telegraph, and UK Telegraph's getting bought up by somebody, I forget, but by Germany, I think, and they said they're going to keep it UK culture or something like this. I think we have that report later. Here's some videos. Here's a video of that protest. It was yesterday. Dozens were arrested in New York City protests against the Iran war and arms sales to aardvark land. Nearly 100 people were arrested in New York City yesterday at a protest against the Iran war and U.S. arms sales to aardvark land. Hundreds of demonstrators attempted to stage a sit-in inside the Manhattan offices of their two senators there in New York. The Palestinian, Chuck Schumer, who's an ardent Zionist, that makes no sense, but Trump's full of shit, and Christian Gillibrand. So there you go. And for their troubles, they got arrested. Here's a video of that protest.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free
And again, they quelled much of the anti-war protest here in America through all the, we saw at universities, right? When the genocide was really kicking off, all these protests, all these universities, and then it gets mixed up with crazy left-wing stuff, and then it gets diluted down, and then it's, oh, I hate the left-wingers, instead of, no, we could all get around. We're against illegal foreign wars of aggression. You have a soul. Iran was going to nuke us in 2 weeks, right? No. We preemptively attacked them based on, according to Trump, word from Kushner, Witkoff, and Rubio that we were going to get nuked in 2 weeks by Iran. No evidence of nothing, just bullshit, lies. A lot of people died already. We're on day 46 of the war here now. They snuck this one under the covers. Very, very little publicity about it. They did post it on their X account in the White House, but I didn't see much about it. Just one post here. The King and Queen of the Netherlands went to the White House yesterday. Here's that meeting. Is that all redactions on Melania's dress there? Yeah, couldn't really spy their if they were doing the Freemason handshake or what. Shook again. But there's a bunch of redactions on Melania's dress right there, as you could see. So that happened. Oh, there it is. That happened yesterday. Apparently nobody cares about but hey, these are big guys behind the scenes. Their name's just not out there, but the King and Queen of the Netherlands. Yeah, there's some big power players behind the scenes. Here's Trump. We never heard the end of it. Obama spying on him, tapped his wires, all this. Turns out that Trump's backing illegal spying on Americans, warrantless spying. The same thing that was allegedly done to him. Now he says, do it to the rest of us. Here's the post. It's truly disgusting. There is no reform from Trump. He's not a reformer. He's a corrupt piece of shit, just like all the rest of them. He says, I'm working very hard with our great speaker, Mike Johnson, along with Chairman Jim Jordan and Chairman Rick Crawford, to get a clean extension of FISA 702 to the House of Representatives this week. Yeah, they're all criminals, violating our natural rights, violating our Fourth Amendment. You're not patriots. You're not America. You're terrorists. Here's this piece of shit. When's this guy? Talk about term limits. How old's this guy? 190? Chuck Grassley? Yeah, he loves it. He's calling for a clean 18-month extension of the FISA Section 702. Well, you're a tyrannical piece of shit. Sorry for the harsh language, but this stuff pisses me off already, man. There is no excuse whatsoever. The government are the damn terrorists, and they're setting up all these false flags, running terrorist operations all over the place. Give me a freaking break, man. It pisses me off. Here's Trump. The hypocrisy knows no bounds. Kill FISA. It was illegally used against me and many others. They spied on my campaign. Was that was April 10th, 2024, so 2 years ago, to show you what a lying piece of shit that Donald Trump really is. It's a con man. He'll tell you anything you want to hear. He's a dark occultist casting spells on you. Wake the hell up, man. So this, let's see, where are we at here? What do we got? We got the economic section next, but here's kind of a crazy one. Let me just read you this. Nuclear power will make sustained human presence in space possible. We will survive the lunar might, endure Martian sandstorms, and venture into the stars. But they still never broke the firmament or explained how you get past the Van Allen radiation belt and all kind of other issues that come up when you start talking about the space travel that they never seem to have an answer for. But hey, we got $1 gazillion of black hole to throw all your money in. Nuclear powered spacecrafts essentially is what this executive order is issuing. Enduring American space superiority, because we're in the space race with China, right? Even though Operation Lockstep in the back room with Hillary, they're all smoking the big cigars and laughing about all this. Let me read you this quickly here. President Trump's executive order 14369, right? Making fun of us right there. Anyway, mocking us. Ensuring American space superiority, December 18th, 2025, established the bold and ambitious goal of enabling near-term use of space nuclear power by deploying nuclear reactors on the moon and in orbit, including a lunar surface reactor ready for launch by 2030. As directed in the executive order, the Office of Space and Technology Policy will coordinate implementation of these goals through the National Initiative for American Space and Nuclear Power. This memorandum provides guidance to federal departments and agencies on achieving the president's priority for space and nuclear power through this initiative. All right. I don't believe any of it, but I do believe they're going to flush $1 billion into these projects and put out a bunch of AI videos telling us how wonderful science is. All right, let's take our live commercial break. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com. Get yourself a holograph sticker, a white background sticker, and a clear sticker. weaponizednews.com/shop. The link's in the description below this video. Put it on your laptop, your bumper, your guitar, your work locker, your hard hat. Help support independent reporting and analysis brought to you 5 days a week, broadcasting live, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern, at Weaponized News. weaponizednews.com/shop. We take donations as well. The links are in the description below this video. Buy me a coffee, Cash App, Bitcoin wallet address, all in the description below this video. We have a secure PayPal link, donation link on the front of weaponizednews.com. Any which way you choose to support us is much appreciated. We also, if you want to become a paid subscriber, go to Weaponized News Substack channel. The link's in the description below this video. The links to almost everything we talk about on this show are posted to Weaponized News Substack for documentation and your further research purposes. If you may feel so inclined to look further into some of the stories we talk about, as we try to cover as much information as humanly possible in the 2 hours or so time that we broadcast this show, until I get tired, really. And some of this stuff takes a lot of energy out of you. This whole 702 thing, man, I can't get too upset about it, but man, you should just know they're all corrupt, but it's just in your face. And it's just, I'm so sick of it. We'll just violate all your rights. Why? We just violate everything you got for national security. That's the trend since what, World War II? I guess forever in this country. I guess forever, but especially since World War II. Right? Anyhow, thank you guys, all of the patrons to the store, the subscribers, the paid subscribers especially, and for all of your donations out there. weaponizednews.com/shop. All the links are in the description below this video. I do appreciate you guys out there on the internet supporting this broadcast. All right. Thank you guys, and welcome back to the second half of Weaponized News on this April 14th, 2026 edition, Tuesday. Now we move on to the economy. Not looking good here. Disney announced earlier today that it will begin firing of 1,000 employees. So, to consolidate its marketing division, it said it in a press release. So, there you go. Go to the Military Industrial Complex Mind Control Center, known as Disneyland. They're also alleged to be involved in child trafficking. Snow, if you're out there in the audience, here you go. Story out of Canada. Mark Carney of Canada has announced it will suspend the federal fuel excise tax on gas, diesel, and aviation fuel starting next week. That's good of that banker to at least try to relieve some economic terrorism from the people of Canada. Here in America, they just laugh in your face. NVIDIA has introduced NVIDIA Lassing, the world's first open AI models to accelerate the path to useful quantum computers. And we have more of that later here from the Department of War, bragging about their acceleration of quantum computing ability. But more on the economy here now. 30% of 2025 graduates in America and 41% from 2 years ago, 2024, secured entry-level roles in their respective fields, according to a report out of Forbes. Think of that. Think of that. Just last year, only 30% of graduates here in America could find a job in the field they have a university degree in. So it's not looking good. This is structural, institutional failure. And we're seeing cracks here now. Big cracks. As many say the American dream is over, they have no chance whatsoever of ever achieving home ownership, which is like bare basic stuff, roof over your head. You know what I mean? Not good. Not good when only 30% of university graduates last year could find a entry-level job in their respective field. Jack Dorsey, why'd you sell Twitter? Now it's all effed up. It was way better when it was Blue Anon or whatever the hell. Whatever the hell you had going when it was Twitter was way better than what X is now. Anyhow, Jack Dorsey moved on, made a bunch of money. He's now Block, right? They do Square. They do a bunch of this finance stuff. Anyway, Jack Dorsey, Block, has said that AI can make middle management obsolete. Report out of Fortune magazine. So, yeah, going to business school, majoring in business management, I would say that's a dead degree practically at this point. You got to get high-level degree, master's, freaking PhD, right? And then AI will still take your job as a middle manager here now, per Jack Dorsey, and many other companies are saying the same thing. Nearly 40% of Americans said that they have less than $500 in cash savings, according to a report out of Fox 5. And so that means a strong economy to lying con men like the Trumps. One of the most prominent investors in the Trump family's crypto company is now criticizing it. You don't say. Justin Sun, who said he has pledged $75 million to World Liberty Financial, accused the company of building a trap door. World Liberty has denied any wrongdoings. Justin Sun, among the largest investors in the Trump family's primary crypto company, claims the company is misleading investors. You don't say. It is the most prominent instance yet of a crypto insider aligned with President Trump calling out his family crypto dealings, which Democrats have said benefit from the president's authority. I'm not a Democrat. I say they do. But everything has to be mired down in this bullshit we call American politics, right? Here's this post on X from Justin Sun, $75 million. He probably invested even more than that. Let's read directly from him calling out their fraud. Here's his post on the X. He says, I've always been an ardent supporter of President Trump and his crypto-friendly policy. As an early supporter who invested heavily in World Liberty Financial, I did so because I believed in the vision that was presented to the public, a decentralized financial platform, and would promote financial freedom, remove intermediaries, and bring the benefits of DeFi to mainstream Americans. See right there. This is the con job, right? That they did on everybody. He says, I did so because I believed in the vision, right? That was presented to the public. Well, you got conned there, didn't you? Just like everybody else. And it's time to admit that these are con men, criminals, and tell them to go F themselves. Instead of continuing down the path of MAGA idiocy to destruction. Continuing here now from Justin Sun, he said, what was never disclosed to me or to any investor is that World Liberty embedded a blacklisting function in the smart contract used to deploy WLFI tokens. This function gives the company unilateral power to freeze, restrict, and effectively confiscate the property rights of any token holder without notice, without cause, and without recourse. This is the opposite of decentralization. This is a trap door marketed as an open door, like everything about Trump, a goddamn lie. I denounce the ongoing token scandals by the bad actors at the WLFI. I am the first and single largest victim as a result of their wrongful blacklisting of my WLFI token wallet back in 2025 that violates basic investor rights and blockchain principles of fairness. Every action taken by the WLFI team to extract fees from users, to secretly implant backdoor controls over user assets, to freeze investor funds without disclosure or due process, and to treat the crypto community as a personal ATM. All of these actions are illegitimate and were never authorized by any fair, transparent, or good faith community governance process. The governance votes cited to justify these actions were not conducted through a fair or transparent process. Key information was withheld from voters, meaningful participation was restricted, and the outcomes were predetermined. These votes do not represent the will of the community. They represent the will of those who designed them. These actions have nothing to do with me. They have nothing to do with the investors who believed the promises this project made. We oppose every one of these actions in the strongest possible terms. The WLFI team's actions erode trust in the project, unlock the tokens, and uphold transparency for the community. Let's build with integrity, not misconduct. Well, sorry, Mr. Justin Sun. The Trumps are economic terrorists and conmen and thieves and liars. So I don't know how you got all your money, but man, they saw you coming, didn't they? Hope he gets all his money back and they make it right. I have serious doubts that they will. Trump Jr. linked cage fighters make pitch to train the military, report out of Bloomberg. A mixed martial arts company linked to Donald Trump Jr. is looking to win government contracts by teaching fighting techniques to the military and police forces. Another rigged up insider scam by the Trumps. But don't you worry. Don't you worry. We're in the golden age. The White House posted this meme. 51 million seniors are paying no tax on Social Security. Isn't that good of them? Golden age for your golden years. The government stole from you your entire life and lied to you and propagandized you your entire life. And now they're doing you the great favor of not stealing what little bit you have in your retirement. Aren't they wonderful philanthropists? This big report, I didn't have time to read it. It's still on my plate. I did not have time to read it today. Hopefully I can get around to it. The 2026 economic report of the president. And I did read a little bit about the AI in there, but there's quite a bit in that report. It's 450 pages, so hopefully I can get around to it and give you some meat out of it. Continuing, the Iran war could cost the American taxpayer $1 trillion, says Harvard economics academic, reported out of CNBC. So there you go. And yeah, Khomeini's still in charge. The Strait of Hormuz is closed, and the Iranian people are more radicalized against America than ever. We appreciate the $1 trillion bill for those efforts. It's going to be even more than that. Okay, check this out. This is your corporate fascist government. And to paraphrase Mussolini, fascism is a merger of corporations and government. That's what this is. 250.gov. Let me show it to you so you can see. They launched it today as they're pumping the 250th anniversary here of America and ramming fascism down our throat for your global corporate government. Here it is. And so 250.gov. And they have fancy animations here as we enter the site. Celebrating the triumph of the American spirit. Wrap yourself in the flag, put it over your eyes and your ears, because you have to be blind, deaf, and dumb to believe this propaganda. So wrap that flag around your head real good, like a turban, and you could believe all this bullshit. But here's why I tell you this is a corporate fascist government. They're not even hiding it anymore. Nice little illustration. 13 stars became one constellation. Be a patriot. Celebrate. Participate. Pray for America, indeed. Stories from Cross America. How we're getting effed over by the government every second of every day. No, they leave that part out. And then here you go. Your corporate fascist government. Freedom 250 is powered by our patriotic partners. These are all like multinational corporations. They don't give a F about America. ExxonMobil, Oracle. Give me a freaking break. Give me a break. PragerU, giant Zionist brainwashing outfit. So you can see right here, a corporate fascist government right here. The other one has even more. And this is scrolling with the animation. But it's worse than this. On the America 250, we showed it before. They got Palantir, Lockheed Martin, a bunch of them. A bunch of them. Oh, here's a good. Oh, they already did it. See if I can re-up the animation here. Yep. Here's another animation they put on there. There you go. A bridge. They do like blowing up bridges. Oh, it continued. They spelled out freedom. See, we blow up bridges all over the place. Well, they false flag a bridge. America, and then freedom. But not from your corporate fascist government. Yeah, it's real bad. I'm just so sick of it all. Sick of this fake patriotism, the American flag. They've soiled it all for me. It's disgusting at this point. Dana White, the head of the UFC, says not $1 of taxpayer money will go to the bread and circus. They're going to have a big cage match on the White House lawn, right? Sure. But they are eyeing government contracts through training the military and law enforcement with their ultimate fighters. He's take a look at a gallon of gas and the price today. It did go down a little bit here. According to AAA, the national average for a gallon of gasoline is $4.11 here, almost $4.12. That did go down a little bit from yesterday, where it was $4.12. And again, it's going to take a minute to see the real implications of the supply chain shutdown of the goods moving through the Strait of Hormuz and many other disruptions due to the Iran war. It's going to take a minute here, but we are going to see very negative economic outcomes. The IMF warns global recession risk as a war on Iran threatens to derail world economy. I don't know, call in the bats. Maybe they can save us. Remember, Trump locked down the world economy last time because of bats, this time because of fake nukes. So, yeah, keeping us safe from all of their hoaxes, you see. In its World Economic Outlook report, the International Monetary Fund warned that the ongoing U.S. aardvark land war with Iran could push the global economy toward recession if energy prices remain high, with global growth potentially falling below 2% in 2026 in a worst-case scenario. It cautioned this would mark a close call for a global recession driven by surging oil, gas, and food prices following disruptions such as the Strait of Hormuz. Speaking to the BBC, IMF chief said a prolonged conflict would fuel inflation, unemployment, and food insecurity. Well, U.S. Treasury Secretary, head economic terrorist Bitchute, told the BBC that a small bit of economic pain is worth the cost to eliminate what he claims are long-term security threats. The IMF also warned that even if the war ends soon, the economic shock could rival the 1970s oil crisis. China slams Washington's dangerous, irresponsible Hormuz blockade. Yeah, you don't say. And so again, backhanded cold proxy war against China on one level. That's some of the reasoning behind this blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Iran oil sales strong despite war. Plans to use revenue for reconstruction. They are doing it. They've already went back and rebuilt a bunch of bridges, train tracks that got blown up in like the last 3 days. They already rebuilt a bunch of stuff. So they're back to work there. They're back to work rebuilding quickly in Iran. Iran's oil minister said today that the country's oil sales in recent weeks have been strong, with part of the revenue set to fund repairs to industrial damage caused by the U.S. and aardvark war on Iran. That was another big one of their negotiation points, is they want reparations for all the damage done to their country by the bombing campaigns. That was another big one. And unfreeze their assets, right? That the economic terrorists known as Western banking system have stolen from them. Iran estimates $270 billion in damage from the U.S. aardvark land war. Let's see here. They're estimating around $270 billion, stressing the figure is not final and will be reviewed in multiple layers. Well, we learned we learned that Iranians are way better accountants than America or aardvark, shockingly, here now, with their cost benefit of $1 million missiles and $10,000 drones. You know what I mean? We've discussed that quite a bit here. And so we're waiting. Well, I guess we'll wait and see the final accounting of the damage, according to Iran. UK finance chief slams US over unclear goals in a war in Iran. And so she needs to be sanctioned, obviously. But this is Big Brother telling us. British Finance Minister Rachel Reeves said today she was very frustrated and angry about what she described as the US's lack of a clear exit strategy or defined goals for the war on Iran. Well, that's antiseptic. Sanctioner, droner. Oh, but you're from the big dogs over there at the House of British Finance. Still antiseptic, though, right? Sure it is. And no one gets in trouble. Continuing theme. This is all fine, well, and dandy. Biden DOJ weaponized federal law to prosecute pro-lifers. Okay, but no one gets in trouble. So there you go. Weaponized federal law. Yeah. No one gets in trouble. They weaponized federal law to prosecute pro-lifers and give them long prison sentences. What are they feeding us here? The worst financial advice. Some of the worst financial advice they could give you is to buy a brand new vehicle right off the lot. And the White House is pushing this, that, get the $10,000 tax deduction on car loan interest. A brand new car made in America, but it depreciates as soon as you drive it off the lot. A very bad investment. Promoted by the White House. Con men. Americans are seeing an average of 11% more money this year. This is Christian Zionist Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who took a vacation in the middle of a major war. There you go, 11% higher. Wow. Now we could afford the inflation that you crooks caused. It's good of them, right? Yeah, taxation's theft. And here's the White House now. More of your corporate fascist government. They put out their own propaganda. It's just not hitting. It's not hitting. And they're all pissed off, calling for everybody to be censored.
You deliver in the rain.
Perfect, thank you.
Snow.
Thank you.
Sleet.
Thank you.
Heat.
Go enjoy.
Oh, thank you so
You
much.
keep America moving, one doorstep at a time. Every delivery, a promise to a customer. But for too long, your government hasn't delivered for you. This tax season, that's changed. Thanks to President Trump's working family tax cuts, you'll keep more of your hard-earned money. No tax on tips. He promised, and he delivered. You go the extra mile for your customers. Now your tax return goes the extra mile for you.
What a load of shit. Taxation's theft. Okay, on to where are we at here now? Where are we at here? Let's do, well, we still have quite a bit to cover. We're already at the hour and a half mark. I was going to play, well, Swallowswell. He's now being accused of rape. He's officially resigned from Congress. A woman accuses Swallowswell of drugging her and raping her. He raped me. He choked me. And while he was choking me, I lost consciousness. I thought I died. I did not consent to any sexual activity. I don't think we have time to play all this, but here's the woman accusing him. And apparently it was enough to make him resign, to drop out of the California governor's race, and to resign from Congress. This woman accusing him of straight up raping her, roofing her and raping her, essentially. That's who these people are. And so more coming out about Congress. report out of Politico. Johnson says he's looking into ongoing Corey Mills ethics probe. And so there's a bunch of them. Corey Mills is guilty of assault and benefiting from federal contracts while in office. Eric Swallowswell and Tony Gonzalez to resign amidst sexual abuse allegations. And this other one, McCormick out of Florida. She did a bunch of bat bailout scamming, right? And House ethics probes are looking into them. Well, they have no ethics, so I don't know how they could even probe it. And ethics is a conspiracy theory, according to these criminals. So there you go. Time to clean house. Nancy Mace from yesterday. There you go. The allegations against Eric Swallowswell are yet another example of why I introduced a resolution to expose the sexual harassment records of members of Congress. 357 members of Congress voted against it. Your tax dollars should not be used to cover up sexual predators or corruption. It's time to clean house. Really, Nancy Mace. How are you going to clean house? Call them all out? I guess that's about all you could do. She's trying to leave the feds and go work for the state, right? Man, that's her out as she's running for governor of South Carolina. More on this. Melania Trump said she doesn't know Epstein. Nothing. But turns out there's a lot of evidence she does, and they were good buddies, and Epstein introduced her to Trump. Paulo Zampoli, Trump's special envoy, was photographed with Vice President Vance in Hungary this week during Iran ceasefire talks. Zampoli's appears 11 times in the DOJ Epstein files. Epstein called him trouble and a killer in emails. He served on Maxwell's Terramar board, her fake ocean philanthropy foundation. That was another wing of their trafficking network, or they were trying to develop into being one and run a bunch of cons through that. Anyway, here he is. Here he is with everybody's favorite Mr. Technocracy, Peter Thiel. There he is, Peter Thiel. And old Zampoli there. Zampoli. The incredible Peter Thiel, the visionary behind PayPal and Palantir, and a driving force in global technocracy. I don't know if that's what he said. It's cut off there. You can see there he is with little Marco Rubio. And so isn't that wonderful? And there he is with the cover-up artist herself, Blondie Bondi, no longer with the Justice Department, but key in the Epstein files cover-up. And she's refusing to testify for the House Oversight Committee as well. And there he is with Mr. Technocracy, J.D. Vance. All smiles. Continuing here, Pam Bondi was subpoenaed to appear before the House Oversight Committee today. This was not a pretty please. This was a legally binding congressional subpoena. If she does not make arrangements to appear immediately, we will move to hold her in contempt. What's that even going to do? That's Melanie Stansbury, a Democrat on the House Oversight Committee out of New Mexico. Law and order screaming in her face, nobody's above the law, except for Blondie Bondi, Epstein cover-up artist. She doesn't have to comply with the law here now because there is no law. Except for if you're a little person, they're going to turn the screws on you and throw you in a cage and forget about you for the rest of your life, or maybe even execute you. But if you're part of the crime syndicate, then there is no law. It's whatever they say, whatever lie they make up. About 100 Epstein survivors sued the DOJ and Google after the files released exposed their identities. They doxed a bunch of victims. DOJ failed to redact at least 31 child victims. They doxed a bunch of victims. In 2010, the DEA launched a probe into Epstein drug trafficking. So he was into everything, right? That keeps coming up. It wasn't just child sex trafficking and eating babies and drinking their blood. He was into everything. He was into international espionage, international arms trafficking, international drug trafficking. You name the contraband, this guy is doing it as a top spy for the Rothschilds. Continuing here, the DEA launched a probe into Epstein, drug trafficking, money laundering, 14 unnamed co-conspirators in March of 2026, just last month. Then Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche personally blocked DEA from releasing the unredacted memo that was the investigation. Senator Wyden said you're covering up for PDF files, right? Yeah. It has now been 116 days since the DOJ was required to fully release the Epstein files. They're sitting on a bunch of them. The acting attorney general today is out there lying, saying that everything's been released. Daily Mail article here says that Zampoli told the Daily Mail he's ready to even bring another 50 witnesses to Congress who were present the night he introduced Trump and Melania at the 1998 Kit Kat Club party he hosted. Paulo would love to know who made the cut for your private party. Researchers are already mapping the world, dropping the names. She knew nothing. She knows nothing. Oh, but here's one of these FBI intake reports that they conveniently put as part of the Epstein files to muddy the waters, because they can always say, well, that was just a report from a crazy person. So right here, Epstein introduced Melania Trump to Donald Trump. And that's one of these FBI intake reports in contact with an agent named Paulo Zampoli, who worked with ID models in New York. I don't know, maybe he's lying. I don't know what benefit he gets out of it, but maybe he's lying. There was no introduction. Melania is 100% on the right and has nothing to do with it whatsoever. But she stands by Donald Trump now, doesn't she? Okay. So, yeah. Bondi defying congressional subpoena. Today, the DOJ is still, Todd Blanche, acting attorney general's out there lying on cable news, saying that all the Epstein files have been released. It's a flat out lie. They don't care. We'll keep following the Epstein files story as it develops. Blondie Bondi does need to go testify under oath to the House Oversight Committee, or else we don't even have a system. What's the system? You're in the government, you're above the law, you're a billionaire, you're above the law, you can eat babies, drink their blood, you're in the Epstein class. That's really the society we have as of right now. And they just never-ending flow of propaganda and lies coming at you. That's who these people are, the Epstein class. It's truly, truly disgusting. That's where we're at here in America. Okay, on to geopolitical section of the show. Department of War told us today is World Quantum Day. World Quantum Day. The Department of War is pioneering quantum capabilities to deliver an unbeatable advantage to our war fighters on the battlefield. American quantum dominance. Meme of the day from the Department of War. Do you like this one better, or Hegseth signing the bomb? You know what I mean? Doesn't that sound wonderful? Well, here's a video the Department of War put out. Agenic AI needs high quality fuel. The war data platform delivers it. The new WDP standardizes data across the Department of War, accelerating our AI strategy and creating a decisive mission advantage. This is the future of data-driven warfare. So what's this clip from the Department of War is Skynet live? We're pretty close, I believe.
In today's fight, data must move at the speed of the mission. To overcome its data challenges, the department needs a solution that provides advanced insights in real time. That solution is the War Data Platform. What started as a tool for financial audits has grown into the department's premier data platform. War Data Platform transforms.
It started as a tool for financial audits, and the Pentagon can't pass a financial audit, so that's concerning.
Data and clear solutions, bringing together more than 4,000 NIPR data sources from over 55 defense organizations. We harness data to see the unseen, predict the next move, and foster a data-centric culture. No silos, no barriers, just one unified mission. War Data Platform delivers secure, mission-ready data and insights to every warfighter and every decision-maker, operating from the tactical edge to strategic command. Harness the power to achieve decision dominance and propel your mission forward with the War Data Platform.
So that's exciting. The War Data Platform, Skynet coming online. But they still can't pass a financial audit at the Pentagon. This is a crazy one right here. A Polish MP. He says Aardvarkland is the new Third Reich. Seems antiseptic. Seems like he needs to be sanctioned and droned. Let's take a look in the Polish Parliament here. Let's take a look. It's translated in English subtitles. Watch till the end, where he shows the true flag of Aardvarkland.
Ataki Izraela na Bliskim Wschodzie odczuwają już Polacy w cenach paliwa, ale jak odczuwają to dzieci, których zginęło już kilkadziesiąt razy więcej niż podczas całej wojny na Ukrainie. Otóż tak, że Żydzi stosują zakazaną bombę fosforową, która pochłania tlen z powietrza i doprowadza do ich śmierci przez uduszenie. Więcej, dym z tej bomby dostaje się do płuc i pali je od środka. One duszą się i palą się od środka jednocześnie. Kilkadziesiąt tysięcy kobiet i dzieci. Ale jak jakiemuś dziecku się poszczęści, się nie udusi, to biały fosfor przyklei się do policzka, do rączki i wypala się przez tkanki do kości. Nie da się tego zgasić, więc odcina się policzek, amputuje się rączkę. Izrael dokonuje na naszych oczach ludobójstwa ze szczególnym okrucieństwem. Izrael to nowa trzecia Rzesza i jego flaga powinna wyglądać dokładnie tak.
Dziękuję.
There you go. Seemed pretty accurate to me. So what happened yesterday? The Aardvarkland Lebanese talks. The State Department issued a readout after a trilateral meeting with Aardvarkland and Lebanon yesterday. The first high-level engagement between the two since 1993 to discuss launching direct negotiations. The U.S. framed the talks as a historical milestone, backing Lebanon's plan to restore a monopoly on force and calling to curb Iran's influence. Washington reiterated support for Aardvarkland's right to self-defense. Yeah, we support them ethnic cleansing the Lebanese and edging on genociding them now, as well as the Palestinians. So Washington fully supports that, the right to self-defense, and insisted any ceasefire be brokered through U.S.-led channels. Maybe Hillary Clinton. It said negotiations could unlock reconstruction aid and economic recovery for Lebanon. Economic terrorism, dare I say? Aardvarkland pushed for disarming all non-state groups and dismantling their infrastructure in Lebanon while committing to direct talks for broader peace deal. Lebanon emphasized sovereignty, full implementation of the November, we're still out of ceasefire allegedly, the November 2024 ceasefire, and urgent measures to address the humanitarian crisis of them killing a bunch of Lebanese, over 2,000 now. We have the number here. Yeah, here's the letter. Whoop-de-doo with your puppet show there. You would think the Lebanese state, if they weren't U.S. puppets, would stand up for their citizens getting whacked. Why do you think Hezbollah has so much support there? Because they're the only ones standing up against the Aardvark aggression. Norway will lift its ban on its $2.2 trillion sovereign wealth fund investing in Syria government bonds. And so that's good in Norway to invest in Al-Qaeda bonds, right? Yeah, we're coming full circle here now again. Drop site news. This one's making the rounds again. They say the Trump administration has quietly directed Pentagon officials, and we saw Trump say it last week, right? Quietly directed Pentagon officials and other U.S. government agencies to step up preparations for a possible military operation against Cuba. And Trump said that a couple times. Cuba's next, right? So after we lose the Iran war, we'll probably win the Cuba war. But yeah, we have the Greater North America project to build out here now, because America first, right? Yeah. The Sudanese armed forces launched a series of drone strikes across east, west, and northern Darfur Saturday and Monday, killing at least 20 civilians, according to the Sudan Tribune. And so that genocide is still dragging along there in Sudan, in large part. Many of the genocidal militia groups backed by the UAE, as we continue to report here at Weaponized News, great American allies and Aardvark allies. And self-proclaimed biggest Zionist president in the world, Milei, out of Argentina. Dropside News reports out of Argentina. Argentina's National Disability Agency has been at the center of an alleged kickback scheme in which pharmaceutical companies received lucrative government contracts in exchange for bribes, reportedly 3% of the contract value paid to officials close to President Javier Milei, right? Same as old Bibi. They could be third cousins from another mother. Maybe they're directly blood related. I wouldn't doubt it at this point. With their fake names, covering up their aardvarkism, and then going full aardvark mode on us. So, yeah. The great anarcho-capitalist with so much potential, taking a chainsaw to government. Milei turns out to be Just another corrupt stooge. Very sad. Spain's Prime Minister Sanchez, he's turning up a lot of shit lately, right? He says the legalization of over 500,000 migrants will be approved today, calling it an act of justice, comparing today's migrants to our grandparents who immigrated to the United States and Europe in search of a better life. I don't know, Spain, can you absorb this many? So essentially amnesty to 500,000 illegal aliens there in Spain. It seems rough, but continuing more from Spain, Spain and China move to deepen ties amid crumbling world order. We're in a new world order, in a new era. Defend multilateralism over return to law of the jungle. Xi Jinping and Pedro Sanchez pledged to deepen ties during talks in Beijing, with Xi warning that chaos abounds and the international order is crumbling. We're in a new world order, the greater North America. We have to carve out our little section of the one world government so we can govern our region of it. Continuing here, the international order is crumbling, and urging both sides to uphold the rule of law and jointly defend true multilateralism against a return to the law of the jungle, according to Chinese state media. Sanchez said international law is being repeatedly undermined and called for closer cooperation to promote peace and prosperity. The visit, Sanchez's fourth to China in 4 years, comes as Western governments seek to maintain ties with Beijing despite ongoing tensions, while also expressing growing unease over U.S. policy. Sanchez said it is more necessary than ever to strengthen ties between China and the European Union, and called on China to play a larger role in global issues, including climate, security, defense, and inequality. Xi also described Spain as a key interlocutor between Beijing and the EU, praising Madrid's approach and calling for stronger Chinese-EU ties to support global stability, while both sides emphasized cooperation based on trust, dialogue, and a move toward a more multipolar international order. China, Xi says the international rule of law needs to be respected to ensure peace and stability in West Asia. America and Aardvark Land laughed. But that system's dead. There is no more rules-based international order, as if there ever even was. All the votes, the UN Security Council, right? The world's like, hey, they're genociding the Palestinians. Let's condemn it at the UN. U.S. sits on the Security Council, veto. So there's your rules-based international order. Can't even can't stop, and can't even say at the United Nations that, hey, yeah, they're genociding the Palestinians and it's wrong. Can't even make it that far. So there is no rules-based international order, as if there ever was. It's all just a big show now, isn't it? Continuing here. Oh, this is a story tied back to that report. Was it Bradley Manning, Chelsea Manning, right? Got arrested for the anti-war protests there in New York. It was reported at a UK Telegraph. Turns out German media giant Alex Springer wins approval for its £575 billion takeover of the UK Telegraph, vowing to preserve the newspaper's British identity. And then they post on it, the Telegraph's new owner is so Zionist, its CEO got a medal for it. Is that kind of like, I don't even know if that's true. Just somebody posted a meme under there. Is that kind of like old Cash Patel winning the gold medal for Epstein cover-ups? I think so. It probably is true. I don't know if that's true, but may very well be. Okay, continuing here. Australia appoints its first woman chief of the army, while naming 2 experienced submariners as the new chief of defense forces and chief of the navy. Well, you're lagging behind, Australia. You need to rename it the chief of war, right? And they're seeing Australia's seeing heavy fuel shortages here now, right? As we continue to report. I guess this is the gal. They don't even name her in the report, but here's your new chief of the army, first a woman. They're in Australia. She looks very happy about it. There you go. Go do the evil bidding of the Department of Defense in Australia. Russia, Lavrov, foreign minister. He urges no return to fighting, offers Russian mediation after failed U.S.-Iran talks. I don't know, man. Can Pakistan jump in there? Russia, China, somebody? I don't know. No, we only listen to Bibi. Forget all you guys. But these guys got a bunch of nukes allegedly too. I don't know. Maybe you might want to take a listen. And do they even need the nukes? They got the Rezhnik allegedly, right? The hypersonics that have no defense against. I don't know. Yeah, who cares what Rush says, right? Yeah. No, seriously. Lavrov urges no return to fighting. Says they're ready to negotiate. They're kind of not in a good position being in a proxy war via Ukraine against America. So I don't know if we want those guys in the room negotiating, you know what I'm saying? But they did put out the olive branch there. Italy suspends automatic renewal of defense agreement with Aardvarkland. This is, I'm probably more mad about this than the illegal warrantless spying. No, just kidding there. But yeah, so Maloney, she needs to be sanctioned, droned, obviously. Maybe we nuke the boot over there. You know what I mean? Maybe we nuke the boot of Italy for this transgression against evil. Italy has decided to suspend the automatic renewal of its defense agreement with Aardvarkland in light of the current situation. Maloney said today, amid the ongoing Iran war, the government, considering the situation we are experiencing, has decided to suspend the automatic renewal of the defense agreement with Aardvarkland, she said. Well, that's pure hate. That's just hate. Anti-Septicism behavior. So look for her to be sanctioned and droned in the near future for the justice of evil. Who's this character? Aardvarkland ambassador to America. So what he said, we will not allow a terror organization to continually fire missiles into our population centers.
Firing missiles at the Lebanese civilian infrastructure. I guess that's their question.
I want to push back on your question. Okay. Israelis don't wake up in the morning and look to fire missiles across the border. The missiles are being fired at our civilians.
But they do, and that's total bullshit. I understand it does go both ways, but come on, man. Greater Aardvarkland Project, they're doing the thing. Mossad chief Barina claims that the Holocaust is not over and vows to destroy the regime in Iran as they're committing genocide against the Palestinians, trying to genocide the Lebanese. Isn't that good of them? The Holocaust is not over. Maybe you want to tell Germany, or I guess Italy, the fascists in Italy, Maloney, cutting them off. So that's a Holocaust for these maniacs, apparently. Aardvark Land Foreign Minister wants peace and normalization with Lebanon. Hezbollah, the obstacle. We want to reach peace and normalization with the state of Lebanon. Sure you do. Just be our puppets and march yourself into that pit. And yeah, that'll bring about peace and normalization as we steal all of your land. The claim continues to be used despite Aardvark Land's repeated attacks on Lebanon, its encroachment on Lebanese territory, and massacres against Lebanese civilians since 1948. It's kind of an ongoing theme here for Aardvark Land, isn't it now? As we're nearing the final solution for the Palestinians. And you're next, Lebanon. So here was the meeting. Here's the meeting that went nowhere yesterday. They're still whacking Lebanese today. Hezbollah's launching operations. Hezbollah announced 47 operations yesterday, on the ground fighting, targeting troop positions and concentrations, using drones, rockets, missiles, targeting strategic military targets, they claim. All right, where are we at? We're blowing through it. We got a little bit more here. We got a little bit more. On to the death count. It is quite horrific. So Aardvark Land strikes on Lebanon since March 2nd have killed 2,124 people, Lebanese, and injured almost 7,000, 6,921, according to Lebanese Health Ministry. Quite horrific. A little bit further breakdown here on the body count and injuries. And Aardvarks are doing terrorism. I mean, they're targeting civilian infrastructure. They're targeting the health sector. Okay, so there was a big massacre yesterday during Lebanese Aardvark Land peace talks. Aardvark Land killed 35 Lebanese and wounded 159 yesterday in the middle of peace talks. Since March 2nd, 254 women have been killed, Lebanese women, 1,136 injured, 1,702 men killed, 5,135 injured or wounded. The worst one's the children, right? Lebanese children killed since March 2nd, 168 killed. That's the same they killed at that one whack on the girls' school, right? The ritualistic blood sacrifice that kicked off the whole Iran war. 168 killed children and 605 injured or wounded children there. And they're targeting the medical sector, the paramedics. 88 medical personnel killed, 206 wounded, 6 hospitals closed, 102 ambulances targeted, 25 medical centers hit, and 116 attacks on healthcare infrastructure. So they're like, we're going to whack you and injure you, and then whack all the people trying to bandage you up as well. That's a report out of Drop Site, and here's the infographic that they put up about it. And that's according to the Lebanese Ministry of Health. There, you could see. Oh, and by the way, there's Lebanon's very diverse in their people's religious ideology. There's a bunch of Christians, Muslims, all these different sects. So extremely diverse. It's not just a bunch of damn Islamic terrorists, as Fox News would tell you. There's a lot of Christians, Catholics, all these different denominations, a very diverse population, to say the least there. And they're all getting whacked the same because we have to have the Greater Aardvark Land Project. It's quite horrific. War crimes, crimes against humanity. They're doing the thing now. Yeah, 88 emergency medical workers have been killed in Lebanon since March 2nd, according to a report out of Sky News. Aardvark Land implements Gaza playbook to erase southern Lebanon towns. Report out of the Cradle. They're leveling the place. Same they did with Gaza. They are leveling the place. There, you can see a little bit. Let's take a look at this. CNRS Lebanon reports 40,000 housing units destroyed or heavily damaged in just 35 days, 16% of total war damage since October 2023, the worst attack in the history of the world, where Aardvark Land stood down and killed their own people via the Hannibal Doctrine. Most affected, southern Beirut suburbs. Yeah. They're taking all this to the Litany. They told us. They told us. Yeah, ethnic cleansing. Just as bad or worse than anything Nazi Germany ever did to them, allegedly. They're doing the thing now. We should probably say it's wrong because it is. It's wrong and evil. Massive and systemic destruction. Right here, you can see. Oh yeah, they're targeting all these old Christian sites. All these what do they call them? UNESCO world recognized heritage sites. I forget the exact name. Thousands of year old world history. They're just destroying it. That's terrorism. Here's some images. They're leveling the place, this southern Lebanon, just like they did Gaza. And I think we have a before and after here. Yeah, here's a before and after. Footage shows the destruction caused by Aardvark Land in southern Lebanon town of Qayyim, comparing two satellite images, one from March 3rd, where they actually had a town, and then yesterday, April 13th, where they had no more town because Aardvark Land leveled the place. Take a look. There you go. And they're spraying chemicals, they're using white phosphorus, as you saw that Polish prime minister mention. They're spraying glyphosate. Who knows even what kind of chemicals? Probably freaking Agent Orange for all we know. A bunch of chemicals destroying their agriculture and on. It goes and flat out bombing. Flat out, TNT, whatever the hell they're arming their warheads with. Big bombs. Here they're and see another part of the psychological warfare against the Lebanese and particularly the Muslim population is they're blocking all of their holy sites. And this is not really, I guess, to some, if you could be considered a holy site. Anyway, blocking war memorials. IDF soldiers are guarding in southern Lebanon a Hezbollah war memorial. The town is long considered a symbolic and operational hub for Hezbollah. And so now they'll probably blow this thing up. Their Hezbollah war memorial there. Would not surprise me in the least if they blow this thing up to further piss them off. Aardvark Land has once again deliberately bombed a police vehicle in Gaza City. I saw a report they killed a 3-year-old little kid. Yeah, 1 child killed, 3 civilians killed. So the genocide in Palestine is continuing. There is no ceasefire. There's no ceasefire in Lebanon. There's no ceasefire in Gaza. And they're whacking little kids today. 3-year-old dead. Palestinian via Aardvark bombing campaign. Targeting Gaza police. This strike, this was in southern Lebanon, the Bekaa Valley. Strike killed a mother and her 3 children. They leveled their house. Here it is. They leveled their friggin' house. There you go. Killed them. Handallah hacker group claims deep penetration of Mossad and Shin Bet facilities as unprecedented footage surfaces of spy chiefs' homes. And so the Iranian hacker group Handallah has obtained and released aerial surveillance and sensitive Aardvark Land sites, including what it describes as Mossad facilities, residences of Air Force pilots, and homes of senior intelligence officials. A public statement from the group claims the material was gathered over months through operations conducted with the assistance of local collaborators inside the occupied territories. And they put out a bunch. I'm not going to show it here, but you could go find it. You can go find it on the internet. Is it accurate? I don't know, and I'm not putting it on this channel, but know that that did happen, and they made these claims. Okay, continuing here. Another Aardvark Land soldier's dead. 30-year-old, part of the 188th Brigade. Killed by Lebanese resistance in southern Lebanon. All sides are stacking bodies. Dead Aardvark. It's a shame, man. On all sides, declassified files reveal Zionist Aardvark terrorist militias contacted Nazi Germany with the goal of achieving imperial aims in Palestine. A report by Haaretz, big Aardvark Land newspaper, right? Big anti-septics, I'm sure. Citing newly declassified archival files, has revealed that elements within pre-Aardvark Land statehood, underground terrorist groups explored contacts with Nazi Germany during the final years of British rule in Palestine. The files draw from Haganah intelligence records titled Contacts with the Axis, include testimony from Ghulam, founder and commander of Haganah, who in 1941 warned of suspected contacts between elements of the Aardvark underground and German representatives. He pointed to intelligence suggesting that Avraham Stern, leader of the Lehigh Underground Group, had explored indirect channels of communication with Axis powers. According to declassified material, Lehigh's ideological stance under Stern viewed the global war as an opportunity to advance an armed revolt against British rule, including consideration of leveraging rival imperial powers. Stern is described as having proposed a practical agreement with Nazi Germany under which aardvarks could form a military force aligned with German interests in order to help dislodge British control over Palestine and impose aardvark land control. Aardvark control. The document also references a formal proposal allegedly transmitted by Lehigh envoys offering an active partnership with Nazi Germany, envisioning a future aardvark land state aligned with the German Reich. What they're doing now is same or worse, probably worse now, actually. On par, at the very least, with the Nazi Germany atrocities of World War II. Better believe it. Yeah, Aardvark Land Ministry of Health announces 47 Aardvark soldiers injured in the past 24 hours. Intense fighting there on the ground in southern Lebanon. This is a report out of Mint Press. They're claiming in this report that Aardvark Land admits to over 570 soldier casualties in Lebanon war so far. Despite heavy censorship, the number of injured is slowly being drip fed out over time. And I do believe the casualties and injuries on Aardvark Land side and America side are a lot higher than what we've been told. One indication would be this report. They're still genociding the Palestinians. Again, according to the Gaza Ministry of Health, at least 3 Palestinians were whacked and 11 injured in the last 24 hours as attacks on the Gaza Strip continue. Let's see. And the final stories of the day. Well, apparently, if you say these guys are complete maniacs, these are the Aardvark settlers, ultra-Zionists in the occupied West Bank, acting like complete terrorists. And so apparently we say that gang of thugs attacking Palestinians, if you say they're bad or wrong, you're anti-Semitic, apparently, according to a fake opinion out there engineered by Aardvark propaganda. And then here's the thumbnail for today. And they said, you can't show this. This is anti-Semitic. And it's like, but there's a video of it, and they're not even being anti-Semitic. But here it is. Is this an Italian? Yeah, it's an Italian newspaper, El Espresso. They put this out. Hey, maybe they can get sanctioned and droned along with Maloney out of Italy. There you go. They say this image is anti-Semitic. of the occupation force in the West Bank there. Here's the video. Here's the video of said incident. And apparently you're not allowed to show this or you're bad for showing what they're doing. Again, this is Aardvark Land Army in the occupied West Bank terrorizing Palestinians. So there you go. The harassing the Palestinians there and showing this big grin. And apparently they didn't like the look of it. And so now this is being deemed antiseptic to show this image. Now they're standing there with guns harassing these people. There you go. And that's who they are. Let's see. That's all the reports. Let's get some breaking news. If there's anything new here. Iran International. See what they got to say. Any breaking news here? They say U.S. destroyer turns back 2 oil tankers leaving Iran. U.S. forces fully implement blockade of Iran ports. U.S. military says all maritime trade to and from Iran halted. Iran war close to over. Trump says to Fox News. You saw the Fox News lady at the beginning. She says Trump said the war's over. Turns out Trump says a lot of lies out of his double-talking Orwellian face these days now, doesn't he? Venezuelan oil imports helping ease U.S. fuel prices amid Iran war. Chevron says, yeah, we want to store all their oil, you'd think. But they're still price gouging the hell out of it. According to Trump, we're the biggest. We got all the oil in the world. Well, why are you guys price gouging the hell out of us? Or we should have like $1 a gallon gasoline or something over here. They're jacking oil tankers all over the world. Stole Venezuela's oil. Trying to steal Iran's oil. But yet, we're getting price gouged like crazy. Thanks a lot, Trump, and your golden age by the Rockefeller oil oligarchy. U.S. blockade marks strategic shift in global power balance over Iran, the White House said. It's nothing really new there. Let's see out of Al Jazeera to see their side of it. Well, they say Chinese officials call for an end to military operations. Yeah, we reported that. Jesus Christ does not support genocide. Protesters heckle J.D. Vance at Turning Point USA event. Yeah, we reported all of this. Nothing really major breaking right now other than Iran war day 46. Trump talking out both sides of his mouth and his rear end. Overwhelming U.S. government corruption in everybody's face. Congressmen drugging and raping women. 357 members of the House of Representatives voted not to disclose to the public their taxpayer-funded sex harassment slush fund. The genocide in Gaza continues. The ethnic cleansing continues. The ethnic cleansing has moved to Lebanon. We're bordering on genocide in Lebanon. Their puppet government this is all just a dog and pony show. So we're not going to get any peace out of that because we have the greater Aardvark land project to build. No matter how many bodies on top of it, it's built, you see, because the White House, Trump administration reports to Bibi on a daily basis. And that's the disgusting state of affairs here in America on April 14th, 2026. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday edition of Weaponized News. We can go to the channels here and see if we can get any comments. We got a few over there on the Odysee. Thank you guys for tuning in on Odysee. Gurr, Fat Bob. Oh no, it's Gillespie. Let's see. We're missing John today. Let's see. For Scully. Glad for this channel. Well, glad you tuned in for Scully. Thank you for that. Fat Bob says, Spain is doing the right thing, Sam. To hell with all their macho shit with the horses and guitar and and hot. Yeah. Spain celebrates LGBT and poor migrant rights, Fat Bob says. They do. They're they're socialist, right? So they're very liberal, allegedly. But they are standing up against the aardvarks as well. Let's see. But that seems like that's your standard left-wing position. It should be every human with a soul's position. And I don't care about your politics. They're literally genociding the people over there, just like Nazi Germany. If you thought that was wrong, then you should definitely think that this is wrong. Pretending like it's our laws, in reality, it's demanded from occupation, Pale Rider said. Yeah. They gave fig branches to cover our shame. Oh, man. Let's see here. Deep. Shout out to Deep. Thank you guys for tuning in there. Pale says Trump is the devil's puppet. Yeah, it's really looking like that. Trump's soul is corrupted and probably always was, but definitely now he's just gone, man. Gone. And so don't let the dark occultist cast a spell on you. Don't let it happen. Don't believe he's lying. Con men, criminals. They're war criminals. I mean, how many murders do they got? How many deaths are on their soul? They're directly and indirectly. There's going to be millions of people starving to death due to Trump's war with Iran. That's on him indirectly. So now millions dead in the future. That's on Trump. So yeah, Trump is the devil's puppet. I agree with you there, Pale Rider. All right, thank you guys for tuning in on the Odysee, X, Twitch, Kick, Bitchute, Rumble, and YouTube. Let's go over to these. Let's go check out some Rumble and YouTube comments. Rucka says, LOL, AI Kush is great. That was a good diss track. What do they say? Skinny, you skinny creep or something? I forget what exactly it said, but yeah. Far too kind, as Zio said. It was too kind of a video for him. I no longer vote, Lovely said. Neither do I. There's nothing worth voting for. What's there to vote for? The next corrupt, lying piece of shit calling themselves a civil servant? You know what I mean? Am I a goofy idiot? No, so I'm not playing with this game anymore. There is no political solution to this corruption. At some point, it will collapse under its own weight. When that will be, who knows? I guess the bankers know. They're probably the only ones that do know. The dark occultists know. But, yeah. But they say 77 on the X says Schumer plays both sides according to directives from his masters. Sure, they all do. Sure. No doubt about that. Lovely says not organic with the matching T-shirts and banners. Oh, that anti-war protest? Hey, better than nothing. But yeah, it was professionally organized. I hear you. We had to attack because feelings. Yeah. Karen said, because we felt like maybe sometime they were going to nuke us in 2 weeks for the last 47 years. Give up on Aardvark land. The Iranians have you by the balls. Goss said. More Epstein friends, 77 on the X. Let's see. Denver says, good news, though. I met with real eye doctor, not on post at glasses store. No glaucoma, no loss of vision resulted from typical diabetic pathologies. Well, that is good news, Denver. I hope you can stay in good health. I hope you can stay in good health through your through your chronic condition. Fat Bob said Trump reformed me out of all my money. Did. Yeah, I hope your doctor knows what he's talking about, Denver. Let's see. Snow says on the YouTube, he says, every Western government is speed running the beast system right now. Maddening. Yeah. They certainly appear to be doing that. Hey, we're moving at quantum speed for your enslavement. Like, wow. Thanks a lot. Karen says, I'll drink to that. Instead of all the governments are murdering us all news. It is good news. It is good news that Denver got a good health report. So we're blessed in that regard. Yeah, it's better to drink in celebration than in sorrow. I do believe. Let's see here. Full spectrum dominance, Denver said. Indeed. Space superiority doesn't mean outer space, and the moon is our exposed butts because they're catching us all over with our pants down, Karen said. Yeah. Full spectrum dominance down to our blood, bone, and tissue, plus their air molecules on crack. The air molecules in crack are the worst, Theo said. Let's see. Thanks for the AI surveillance stuff. Thanks, Mark. Snow said, yeah. Let's see. Any other comments here? Denver says the old airport got hit for casualties. Yeah. I was just reading ZOs. They're saying, yeah, trust the science. They love us. Carrie says, idiot failed to read the contract. Can't fix stupid. man. I'm just reading some of these comments there. They're chatting amongst themselves. Thank you guys for tuning in. The Weaponized News sounds. Does Denver say Purdue University? They cuck hard for globalism. That's maybe why their basketball team went to the Final Four or Elite Eight and was top 3 all year. Maybe. They were on that scrolling list. At the 200-year anniversary, I knew the truth, Carrie said. I was born in 1976. I was born on the bicentennial, right? I didn't know nothing, man. I knew don't trust the government. I think I've pretty much always known that. It used to be a thing. Americans, it used to be like common knowledge. Don't trust politicians. Don't trust the government. I remember growing up, that was like common knowledge. I don't know what happened. Maybe that's still common knowledge, but people want to put their faith and trust in this evil ass system. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Carrie says $7.49 diesel in our town. I think she's up there in the Bay Area of California. And of course, all that's going to be passed on to the consumer, right? And that's just to transport goods, the majority of diesel. And so we're going to expect inflation in the price of groceries and other consumable goods, all goods, actually. Carrie says, I listened to the IMF report today before Sam read it. EU News. Damn you, EU, beating me to it. Let's see. Quite a few comments. Thank you guys for commenting it up and keeping it lively and interesting on the Rumble. Nobody heard me. History proves Persia better than America of less than 250 years. They've been around a hell of a lot longer, that's for sure. Karen says 11% more. What? 11% less top Roman for Sam is what that math translates into. Yeah. Let's see. Denver says the problem is tip share and employers stealing the tips. Yeah. That's the problem with collectivism, right? That's the problem with your group project at university or whatever school. Like, oh yeah, let's have a group project. And you're the only one doing the work because you're the only one that cares if you get a good grade because you're the only idiot that even cares, right? I've had that experience. So yeah, it's the problem with group projects is everybody doesn't pitch in equally. Lockdown's coming again, so promoting DoorDash makes sense, Raka said. May very well be energy lockdowns. May very well be there. Carrie says Seattle City Council just approved more tiny homes for homeless. Was it Deborah on the YouTube says Italian Prime Minister suspends? Indeed. That's why they need to be sanctioned and droned, right? Because any transgression against genocide is severely punished by the economic terrorists known as the U.S. federal government through the weaponization of the world's reserve currency, the dollar. Yeah. That's where we're at. Denver says, Wyden dirtier than a steamed hot dog throwing no bun down a dirty, unswept, unmopped hall of a strip joint. Well, aren't they all? But, you know what I mean? At least when they say something halfway reasonable, we can say, well, yeah, you know what I mean? But aren't they all? Let's see here. Bardo says, if 4 victims have come forward, how many other victims are there? I wonder. Well, there's 357 members of Congress that don't want us to know about the sex harassment slush fund. And there was another report. I didn't even report it because I really disliked that guy, Benny Johnson. But he was interviewing George Santos for whatever that's worth. They're all discredited in my book. But George Santos said they had to suspend the high school internship program with Congress because Congress kept sexually harassing high school students that were part of the high school internship program to learn about civics in America. Think of that. Probably true. I don't know. Let's see. Denver says Argentina has the most promising and successfully adopted central bank, one app among Western nations. I got some notes on it. Huh. Maybe we need to bring Denver back on the show. We haven't had him on in a while. I think we need to. Max said Pedro Caminist. Buttoning up with Cuba. China, right? Buttoning up with China. For each according to his power, to each according to his will, Max said. Did they ever find the $2 trillion that Rumsfeld claimed was missing from the DOD on 9/10, the day before 9/11? No, they didn't. And all the investigation into that, all the accountants and paperwork and everything, and investigators, all got blown up by bin Laden at the Pentagon. So they never found any of it because bin Laden thankfully blew up all the evidence. 2.4 trillion. Yeah. Let's see here. Absolutely disgusting excuse for these evil psychopaths, Karen says. Yeah. Yeah. Heavy metal contamination leads to deadly bacteria, Max said. Yeah. Almost done. Not that kind of heavy metal, Ruckus. Ruckus says, I like heavy metal. Not that kind of heavy metal. Like aluminum, barium, strontium, lead, the stuff they're spraying on us in the geoengineering programs. That kind of heavy metal. Denver says they won't run with the bulls, the aardvarks. They're too scared. Ruckus, he says, I blame Darby and Schofield. That's a good place to start with these brainwashed Christian Zionists have corrupted the American church in large part. Karen says, yes, Sam, we do need Denver back on the show. Well, there you have it. We're going to have to coordinate with Denver and see if we can get him back on the show. Yeah. So we'll have to do that in what are we on today? Tuesday? Maybe this week or next week for sure. Depending on what Denver's schedule is. We'll have to sort that out and see if we can get him back on here. All right, guys. That's all I got for tonight. As always, everybody do your own research. Peace, love, and freedom. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Tuesday evening. And we'll see you back here on Wednesday. Hopefully we can get Ruckus on tomorrow for his usual Wednesday spot. We'll see you tomorrow for more Weaponized News. And again, thank you guys for tuning in and contributing in the chat, keeping it lively and informative.